The federal government on the 19th of March 2020 deregulated the downstream petroleum sector with the objective of putting an end to fuel subsidy regime which gulps billions of naira annually. With the deregulation of the downstream sector, the pump price of fuel will now be determined by market forces. In other words, since petroleum products are refined from crude oil, the price of crude for refining will determine the eventual cost at the fuel station. The principal concerns for most industry players are that federal government agencies, especially Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NPC), Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA), have allegedly failed to be transparent in fixing pump price expected to be determined by market forces and other variables, with the deregulation of petrol by the federal government, which has led to an increment in pump price in recent times. Nigerians are hoping that the new reduction of pump price of PMS from 168 naira to 162 naira 44 kobo per litre will be sustainable without any further increment. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I have the right person in the studio. As a Southwest Zonal Chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, is Mr. Lamidi Dele Tajuddin. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you on the show.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, I want to start this way. How realistic is this 5 naira that is off the price of PMS? You are the people in the sector. Take us through what is playing out at the moment.
Okay. Good afternoon, viewers. And once again, I want to sympathize with TPC family because last time, after going out, what I saw the extent of damage and I wept inside my
Thank you so much, sir.
So once again, I want to sympathize with you. And God Almighty will give the management the strength to rebuild TVC News.
Thank you so much, sir.
Well, suddenly, the Honorable Minister of Labour, that is Dr. Chris Ngige, announced on behalf of federal government there's going to be a reduction of 5 naira from 14th of December 2020. Number one, Dr. Chris Ngige is not Honorable Minister of Petroleum or GMD of NNPC, because between us and PPMC or NNPC, there is always channel of communication. And I hope his statement was not political, because I think it was, that statement was made out of several meetings, and I hope he was not compelled to make that statement. I pray that it's going to be a reality in the sense that NNPC depots, they receive directive from their office in Abuja, and once there is no directive from the Abuja office, I can assure you nothing will be done. And even in most cases when there are directives, or when you hear something from the newspaper, it takes time. I want to use this opportunity to advise NNPC they should be quick in response, because in most cases when there is these changes, when you get to the depot, they will tell you they have not received the circular. Yeah. It takes the whole day and the next day. And the irony of it is that they have announced that there is reduction of 5 naira. As I'm talking to you, some innocent people come to filling station and tell you that, but it has been reduced by 5 naira. Why are you still selling at what price? So it is as bad as that, but you can't blame them, because once the information comes, some people don't even know that it's going to be effective on the 14th of December. So we hope that will be, because at this point in time, you agree with me that the price of crude oil is going up.
Yes, it is.
And, but I still believe that price is good. Even before this time, I must commend our members, because even when NNPC put it at 168 or government put it at 168, you still see our people selling at 165, 163, as the case may be. If masses will be sincere, a lot of stations are selling at 163, 165. And that is good thing about deregulation, because there's going to be stiff competition. And people, when there are so many players, like I used to say, people will drop their margin.
True.
Because competition is very high. Take Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, for example. You have a whole lot of filling stations. If this one sells 167 today, and the other one feel is better for him to sell at 165, he goes to 165. By next day, the other person will drop his price. That is the importance of deregulation and allow many players. I think NNPC should be very sincere about this deregulation. Honestly, if they do, I can assure you the price will naturally drop itself. And also, like I said, if they want to be sincere, let us put the templates, because what they embedded in that template, they should come out and tell people what goes to what, how they arrive at that time. Because if agencies like PPRA is taking about 7-8 naira, Petroleum Equalization Fund is taking, the NIMASA is taking, all these amounts embedded in it makes it more higher. So, but if it is deregulated, we don't need PPRA again. We don't need Petroleum Equalization Fund management again. So all those will go. The price will be. So it is better for NNPC, though I read from newspapers some days back that there's a plan on way to concess the depot to private partnership, that is something like bid, operate, and transfer at the end of the day.
I want to come in here now, talking about NNPC monopolizing, because they are the only ones importing. That's what we know. That's what's been happening for some time.
Correct.
And I think that's what's still happening.
Yeah.
Are they not creating a platform where marketers like you, majors, and all of that can import PMS and make this more competitive?
Well, absolutely you cannot blame NNPC, because in the past, people abuse the privilege. Especially that time when there was subsidy, people abuse the opportunity when a vessel that is not even known will be put in place as if it has brought product to Nigeria. And when people brought 10 million liters, they call it 20 million liters. I think that was why NNPC took that decision. But nevertheless, they should not stop others from importing. Only what they need is to put a very stringent measure, and to ensure that correct amount of litter brought into the country is ascertained. And I also hope that if all such opportunities given to people, people will not use the forex to do another thing. That's because that Nigeria factor, I think we have to change our behavior. When certain amount of money is marked for XYZ, it should be made. So absolutely you cannot blame government on that because of the behavior. But it takes collaboration of government agencies to do these things. Because when you import, the customers to inspect, and all other agencies. So it means there is connivance somewhere.
Let me play the devil's advocate here now. Because when we put this on Twitter, we got a lot of messages, people were talking. They said that all marketers, when it's time to reduce fuel, it's always difficult. But when it's time to increase, it's always quick. You are the one in the business. Can you explain to Nigerians so that we understand the process? So that they don't always think that it's the fault of the marketers? Because I'm aware that at times you have in your tanks, you've not sold off, and maybe there's a reduction, you want to sell at a loss. So Nigerians need to understand all of these things so that they don't just think that the marketers are the ones hitting them hard.
Well, actually, you don't need to blame marketers.
Okay.
Because marketer buys in, and you need to know our stock levels. It is the tank farm owners and the NNPC, because they are the one that has the large quantity of product in their tanks. For example, some stations may not have more than 10,000 liters, 5,000 liters as the case may be. So you cannot, and once it is announced, it's vice versa. When they decrease, we don't have any option than to decrease. But when they increase too, the same thing happens. So it's not as if marketers, especially the independent marketers in Southwest, it's not as if we don't have masses at hand, but it's just the situation of the business. So, like I said now, even before this reduction of NNPC to 162 that they're talking about, we are already selling close to that. If somebody is selling at 163 and they are just talking about coming to 160, 162, you see we're already doing that for the masses. And I hope that the masses will appreciate that we're already doing that for the masses, except some marketers who remain at 168, 167, but we're already at 163, 165.
Now, the role of Ipman in the distribution of petroleum products cannot be overemphasized. You are at the nooks and crannies, because I know also when I'm traveling outside Lagos, if it's by road, we buy fuel from all of the filling stations that are not the normal ones. Now, what are your members facing at this time? How has it been? At the time, we were challenges with products, but I think you can get products now. What more do you want from government to make your business easier? Because we need to get this. And we also hear that even gas, you are also keen into gas. So tell us maybe some of all of these things that Nigerians understand.
Yes, because of the current price of crude oil, when I learned that government is going to reduce by 5 naira, I am afraid if it's not going to affect supply. Because when there's short supply, it's going to be followed by scarcity.
Yes.
So I hope, like I said, what they have said is with all sincerity of purpose. It's not a political statement. Supply, I've said it here before, is very, very key in the chain of petroleum product, because you've got to move the product from where it is imported to by trucking to our various filling stations. And without being modest, independent marketer has over 65–70% of outlets in the country. Yes. Not only in the rural area, in the major city, can't sit in anywhere today. Independent marketers owns majority of the filling stations. So, and I must commend again the government, because we have been having adequate supply. We must say that, adequate supply. So that's why I'm saying that if with the price of crude oil now and they come down by 5 naira again, I hope it will not affect supply, because we are going toward a related period.
Exactly.
So we need adequate supply, because there is going to be more consumption. It is natural. If you follow the trend during the Christmas, and there's always, especially during dry season, there's always increase in consumption of petroleum products. So they should please, that reduction should not affect the supply of petroleum products. They must be sincere with it. And I hope that they will send that circular, because if they don't reduce, if government don't send circular to reduce, masses will not expect reduction. Yeah. But if we have that, their letter by Monday, in good time, we will immediately, because it's even better this time around, we have been notified.
Yes.
So nobody have justification of saying that. But they must be quick in response. Because if you say Monday 14th, and the motorists expect by any time on Monday, even 5, 6 a.m., they expect you to change your price.
Yes.
And by that time, NNPC has not changed. They are not giving us a circular. There's a problem somewhere. So I want to appeal to them, if they are thinking of Monday, then by Friday evening, circular must have gone. And they should start selling to us on Monday at the new reduced price.
Let's end on this note. What kind of deregulation are we really supposed to look at? Many have said this deregulation looks partial. It's not full. Is it different from the type we have with diesel and the kerosene? What kind of deregulation do we really need to help improve productivity, particularly in the downstream, which is key in this industry?
I think governments will answer from downstream sector.
Totally.
I'm telling you, because if you understand what is happening within the system, their management system is very, very poor. They don't have what we call research and intelligence. They lack planning. And they should just take the bull by the horn and deregulate totally. And I assure the masses that if there is total deregulation, within 6 months, you will have the price less than 120, 140.
Wow.
I can't assure you that. Because it is this government inclusive putting all these unnecessary in the template. Because all those things will go. If it is total, all those PPRA, this and that will go. Though it will affect their job, but then it's better for the masses. Because the payments of transportation has to go if it is total deregulation. Yes. So it is not total now. It is partial. It's not as if anybody is saying whether it is partial. If it is total, let them move on. And let them back it up with legislation. I've said it here before. This bill, that PIB bill that has been on for a very long time, I can't understand. Wow. There's political motivation behind it. They should take the bull by the horn in the interest of the masses.
Indeed. Indeed, it's a good way to leave it. An optimistic note there, Mr. Dele Lamidi Tajuddin. I must thank you very much for your time. Southwest is the chairman of Southwest IPMAN, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. Been breaking it down for us, price of PMS, what it means, and what we should expect with regards to deregulation. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you very much.